Thank you so much for joining us. So first of all, Katie is one of our students who just graduated. She is going to Stanford and starting on Monday and has been in countless of our productions as well as other local youth theater and at her high school. And Nicolas is well known for many things. Of course, Jersey Boys, it's Tommy DeVito, Mary Poppins, Bert, Fiyero and Wicked, and then many national tours, Jersey Boys, Mary Poppins, Wicked, and Mamma Mia, and so many other regional titles. So we're really excited to have you.
Hello.
Hello.
I want to tell you before I ask you anything, I saw you in Wicked when I was 7, and I saw you twice. I'm so that my mom keeps playbills. I have 2 playbills of October and March when I saw you. So that's very exciting. I'm very excited to talk to you. And so my first question is like directly based off of that. For me, seeing you in Wicked was like one of those moments as a kid where I was like, that's something I want to do. And so I was wondering, do you have any like shows you saw or movies you saw or soundtracks you listened to that like made you want to pursue musical theater?
Absolutely. When I was the very first, there's 2 musicals that I saw when I was very young. The first one was Starlight Express, and then the second one was Kiss of the Spider Woman. I don't know why my parents brought me to Kiss of the Spider Woman. They're like, "Oh, you like musicals? Sure, let's go see this." But what's incredible is I saw Brent Carver and Cheetah Rivera in that tour of Kiss of the Spider Woman. And being a little kid from Ottawa, barely speaking any English at that time, I didn't speak English. I was 7, started speaking till I was 7 years old. My parents are from France, so French was my first language. I was like, "Wow, this show is amazing." In Starlight Express, I got to go backstage and like meet some of the guys all dressed up in the chimneys, and, like, or the locomotives. So it was that really made an impact, and I started dancing when I was 6 years old. So I had that passion for dance and theater already. But seeing those 2 shows, I was like, cool. I want to do that. That'd be fun. And then I got involved in community theater in my hometown. And the musical that really made me go, okay, I want to do this as a career was the musical Crazy for You. So I did that in my community theater as well as seeing the tour, the Canadian tour in 92, 93. So I was really enamored with that show and the Gershwin music and everything. So that's really what solidified my choice and said, okay, no, I want to tap dance in front of audiences and sing and dance and act and do all that. So those are the 3 shows that really solidified where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do.
And next question, we mentioned all of us looked through your resume and there's so much fun stuff to look at. I was wondering, are there any roles that you haven't done yet that you would just love to?
Yeah, there's a few. The one role that I really wanted to do was Don Lockwood in Sing in the Rain. I got to play that at Main State a few years ago, which was like, finally I got to tap dance while it rained on stage. It was pretty cathartic and amazing. And now that I'm getting older, there's a few more roles that are opening up that I'm like, oh, this would be fun. I love the music and some roles in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. That's a fun musical by David Yazbek. The Something Rotten, I'd love to play a Shakespeare or a Nick Bottom.
Me too.
Roles. There's those 2 are off the bat. An American in Paris, which is a beautiful musical. I might be getting too old to play the Jerry Mulligan, the lead army, the Gene Kelly role from American in Paris, but that's another great role in musical.
Do you have any other favorite shows or favorite roles from your long career?
Fiyero and Wicked. I mean, what's not to love about that role? That's a great musical and great show. Bert and Mary Poppins. I mean, I got to tap dance upside down on the ceiling of the proscenium of the theaters when I was on tour and on Broadway. Those are the 2 that really stand out. And of course, Jersey Boys is a great musical. So well written, and I get to play the bad guy in the musical. So.
You mentioned being in shows that are both on Broadway and touring. Do you have any favorite things about touring or any things about touring that you feel like you approach differently than when you're doing a show on Broadway?
So both shows, Broadway on tours, are the when you enter the theater and when you leave the theater, it's about the same thing. But what's exciting about being on tour is that you get to see different cities and meet different audiences. So there's different audiences come from New York that you'll find different from like audiences in Des Moines, Iowa, or San Francisco, California. You get to see the people who come and see the show, and different, like even especially Jersey Boys, different parts of the show would have different reactions with the audiences. When we hit Ohio, we poke fun in the musical. Jersey Boys would poke fun a few times at Ohio, and the audiences really picked up on that and laughed really hard. But then some of the New Jersey things, they still applauded and laughed and cheered, but not as loud as when we're on the East Coast. So you see the different reactions from the audiences, which is a lot of fun. And of course, being on tour, you get to, what I love to be doing on tour is really discovering every city and the people's favorite restaurants, what the sights to see, the museums to go to. So I really would dig in and really get to know the city when I was there for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. And that's what I love being on tour, is seeing different cities and different restaurants, and of course the fun Airbnbs or hotels we would stay in. Really get to experience that local flair.
I also want to know, because you're a dancer, if there are any shows that you want to choreograph that you haven't.
Absolutely. I mean, I was supposed to choreograph Jersey Boys at the Fulton Theater in May. Of course, 2020 had different plans for a lot of us, so that was postponed indefinitely. So yeah, I would love to direct and choreograph Jersey Boys, and direct and choreograph any big dance show like Crazy for You or 42nd Street. Anything that has big cast and lots of dancing is right up my alley. That I would love to sit down and really dig into the choreography and create something magical for audiences, because that's next on my bucket list of things I want to do.
I was wondering, because even as like a kid, I was aware that like Wicked was like kind of this transcendent cultural thing. How did it feel to be part of such a like huge, massive, impactful show?
It was definitely a transcendence, impactful thing. Being part of it too, and seeing the effect we have. The fans that would wait at the stage door to get autographs and meet, the witches and everyone. I see some people raising hands over here. It's magical. I mean, it's really incredible that theater is able to touch so many people in so many different ways. You know, people that come see Wicked, they relate to so many things on the stage. They relate with Elphaba, or they relate with Glinda. They see the social aspect of what's happening in the show, and how the wizard is not what he appears to be, and how that can be applied to things in our society as well. So it's I think Wicked especially is an amazing, well-written show that so many people can relate to, and it affects and gives people confidence, and it's just beautiful how it affects people, and how it really allows people to be themselves. That's what's so wonderful about Wicked, is that no matter what colors your skin, no matter how popular in school or not, there's different faces, different aspects of your life that people don't see. And when people see the show, they're able to go, oh, that's what's happening in my life. It's fine, and it's going to be fine.
I also wanted to know, do you have any like consistent, I know you've done a lot of varied roles. Do you have any consistent pre-show rituals that you like to do before you go on stage?
It depends on the role in the show. So with Mary Poppins, I would, for 15 minutes, I would get into the character in my dressing room by, having my tap shoes and like connecting with, just listening to certain music. With Jersey Boys as well, it's music affects me a lot. So before a show, I have my dressing room kind of music of that period, or that connect with the role. One of my co-stars in Mary Poppins would actually have a different perfume for every role she would play. So she would have a perfume for Mary Poppins. She would have a perfume for this and that for different roles. So it's funny different people have different like little rituals. But for me, it's music and having a good body warm up, because we're athletes going on stage for 3 hours, 2.5 hours of stressing your body nonstop from 8 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. So you have to make sure that your voice is ready, your body's ready, and your mind is in that mindset. So you prepare all that, you warm it up, and you zone in, and there you go.
I wanted to ask, do you have like a biggest challenge, or like the most difficult thing you had to overcome over the course of your career? That's a big question.
I've never really had like, oh, I have to overcome this one thing, this one challenge. My wife has had injuries where she's had like a blown ACL in her right knee, and then a year or 2 years later, then her left knee, blew out. So my wife has had some obstacles to overcome and rehabilitation physically to go be back in her career as an amazing singer, dancer, actress as well. I've always been very fortunate since I graduated high school to have a job to start with, doing the Radio City Christmas show, and then to keep going with West Side Story in Stratford in Canada. I think I've always wanted to play leading roles. So I guess the challenge being in this business sometimes when you are a great dancer, even though you can sing and dance and act and you're just a great dancer, people will only see you as a dancer. So they'll be like, okay, well, you're great. You can understudy the lead role, but we'll always hire you to be the backup because you're such a great person in the ensemble. So I think at one point someone gave me a chance and said, you know what, you're too good to be in just the ensemble. We're going to give you a leading role. And then from there, it just kept I would just do leading roles, which has been a huge blessing that I've been fortunate to do that. So I guess that was the challenge, to be like, okay, have someone believe in me that I can do this by proving myself over and over by understudying the leading roles. So it's never been like me going, oh, I have to do this, but it's been a challenge. I've been very fortunate because I love working. I love being in shows. And if I had been kept employed in the ensemble, if I never played Fierro, but I was the Fierro's understudy, I would have still been happy, and many people have amazing careers doing show after show and being understudies.
My last question is, what's your biggest piece of advice to anybody who wants to do what you've done?
My biggest piece of advice is learn as many skills as you can. Go to school, or even before your school, while you're still living with your parents at home, take vocal lessons, learn an instrument, play guitar, play piano, play the flute, learn to tap dance, learn to juggle. The more tools you have in your toolbox, the more jobs you'll be able to get. Because nowadays you have to be able to sing, play guitar, do a backflip, and fly like a flying monkey while being painted green to be employed in many Broadway shows. So, learn every skill you can if you're passionate, or you can just be comfortable if say you're auditioning for a show and someone says, well, do you tap dance? And maybe you've taken 5 tap classes, but you say, yes, I can do it, instead of going, oh no, I've never put a pair of tap shoes on my feet before. So, the more you know, the more you'll be employed.
Nicolas, is there anything else that you wanna like anything that you're working on in quarantine that you want to share with us? Or
yeah, absolutely. Since quarantine hit, my wife and I have been doing these living room concerts where her and I are the superheroes in love, because I'm Superman and she's Wonder Woman. But our next concert is coming up October 3rd. So if you are interested, follow our Instagram pages, Superheroes in Love, or my Instagram page for information on all that. Our next living room concert. We sing Broadway show tunes, we dance, we edit, we do some fun pre-recorded videos. We fall in pools and dance in pools, so it's fun.
All right. Well, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Nicolas, so much.
Thank you so much.